Hello, Aquarius, and welcome to Astrology Studio for 2025-2026. I'm Eric Francis Coppolino, your friendly neighborhood astrologer, here with an unplanned sua sponte video presentation for this reading. I was planning to do this as audio. However, I'm thinking, I mean, there's some advantages to doing video. I've been working on upping my game on the video thing, and as you can see, I still haven't quite worked the lights out. You can see the reflections in my glasses. Those are the wrong glasses. Here are the potentially glare-free glasses. Let's see if that's truth or fiction. Somewhat better, but they are extremely grimy. Okay, so what I have here is a setup where I can actually show you the chart without having to hold it up. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and thanks for purchasing your Aquarius reading, and for your patience around this time of year as I kind of jump back in to more regularly scheduled stuff after 3 months of doing the annual edition. It's a little bit tricky, and then there's the content piece of it. You know, I've just done this reading where I've said everything I could possibly say. I think the Aquarius reading ran about 7,000 words or something like that. And all right, part of the game upping here is better cameras, better light, and new background art. That's the oldest art on Earth out of the Lascaux cave in France. And I think that's interesting that what they didn't really portray humans very much in that art. And it's a vastly complex cave system with art basically on all of the walls. And they did a lot of running animals, particular horses, and what seems to be bison. And there is one image that depicts a birdman. I'm pretty sure, but my personal favorite are these hands reaching out of the abyss 20,000 years ago, and a dog named Robot found the opening to the cave in a what was basically a tree turned over and left a little hole in the ground, and Mr. Robot found this opening, and a few days later, the guy who's, I don't even remember who the person was, I just remember the dog, of course, brought some friends back, and they went into the cave and found they had to make, they couldn't go to Home Depot or Lowe's, they had to make a kind of a makeshift gas lamp, and they went down there. This is around like 1940, 1942, something like that. So the Lascaux cave. All right, but we're here to talk about Aquarius in this moment where Aquarius is very much the thing to talk about, and all the themes and the dynamics and the issues of Aquarius are going to be basically front and center in our lives. I think they have been since the events of 2020, which we cannot discount as being one of the strangest incidents of the entire modern era, and there have been a lot of very strange ones, but never before have the streets of the world been emptied ever, first of all, and then second, it should surprise no one to know that this was over the claim of a virus that turns out to only exist in artificial intelligence programs. Now, these are two very Aquarian themes. One, the streets of the world being emptied, and then this issue of artificial intelligence. And I know I've said these things, and if you're one of these people who's curious about and like, haven't been listening to my work the past 5 years and might fire back, how did all those people die? Well, if you've ever watched a true crime program, how did that dead body get dead is one of the most important questions of dead bodies. Is how did that dead body get dead? Except when it's said to be medical, and they can just check off a cause of death on the birth certificate, on the death certificate, reverse birth certificate, and one of those is not we killed you. It's was it that disease or that disease or that disease. So these two, well, this third theme of how did that dead body get dead is significant when we talk about Pluto, the Lord of Death, entering Aquarius, the Lord of Groups. So thing one is the entire social pattern of the world was changed overnight, March 13th, 2020. And second, this was all done using artificial intelligence to create the metagenomic transcript that was called SARS-CoV-2. The official name is MN 908947.2. And then the artificial intelligence so-called test called the polymerase chain reaction. And then third, if people died, how did people get dead? And that's the Pluto. They're all about Pluto, but they happened under the influence of Saturn in Aquarius, and Saturn in Aquarius is well, it's somewhat less than Pluto in Aquarius. Pluto is very concentrated and it affects more people, and there is a denial trip going on around Pluto as being the edge of the solar system. Which we encountered in 2007, in the summer of 2007, when Mike Brown, the person who discovered the planet Eris, Brown also discovered, Sedna. Brown discovered Haumea, I think, and Maki Maki, and then really anything, well, they've all got exotic, weird names, but because they're running out of Greek gods and Roman gods to name things after. Brown, this is my point, I had one, has Pluto demoted. He discovers Eris, far out from Pluto in our solar system, but he's got to finish the job and basically try to make himself into the most famous astronomer on Earth, Americana, by having Pluto demoted. Demoting Pluto is something of a power trip. He wrote a book called How I Killed Pluto, or Why I Killed Pluto. And I have talked to Mike Brown. I have indirectly worked on a project with Mike Brown. Mike Brown advocates for astrologers, but I think that this was something approaching the height of arrogance to claim that he killed Pluto. This beautiful thing that's a 6-planet system. There's nothing like Pluto anywhere. So we call Pluto when we think, oh, Pluto's a planet. It's just this kind of round rock, and it's got a moon going around it named Chiron, something like that. It's actually Charon, Charon, or depending, I've heard it pronounced Karen. But it's not really a moon. It is, they're a binary pair of minor planets, and they orbit a common barycenter. And then outside of them, there's 4 additional orbiting points. And so this incredibly beautiful thing that we're first getting to understand, and as an astronomical entity, thanks to better telescopes and the New Horizons mission, has entered Aquarius. It's entered your sign. And it has entered your sign in an 18-month warm-up, an 18-month lead-in. Impressive, right? It made 3 entries Whereas normally an outer planet will make two entries. It'll go into the new sign, retrograde out, and then go back in over about a 9-month period. We almost double that with the entry of Pluto into Aquarius for some odd reason. How that works out between the orbit of Pluto and the orbit of the Earth around the sun, some combination of factors, Pluto made an additional retrograde back into Capricorn that ended in November. And so we had 10 weeks from about September of 2024 out to November of 2024, where there was one last extra bit of Pluto in Capricorn. And I was talking about using that as the occasion to, to wrap up old business, to wrap up old business, Capricorn related, meaning family and government. And so now Pluto is in Aquarius, and this, of course, represents an important part of demarcation in your life, wherever your sun happens to be in Aquarius. If you're born on very, very early Aquarius, let me see if I can get this straight. Something like it's January. Oh man, like let's say you're born January 20th. You're going to have Pluto conjunct the sun now. Basically, January 9th, whatever the entry date is. I don't have these dates in my head right now. If your birthday is today, you're not going to have Pluto on your sun for about 9 more years. But we sun sign writers know that when a planet enters a sign, the entire energy field is activated, and you don't even need to be a sun sign writer. You just need to be a mundane astrologer to see the incredible things that happen when a planet changes signs, like the Fukushima incident that happened when Uranus went from, I believe, Pisces to Aries in 2011. Pisces to Aries or Aquarius to Pisces in 2011. Earlier in my career, there were fewer of these transits I had to memorize, and now I feel like, because when I started, like, the 21st century hadn't happened yet, and now that we're here at this late date, the 21st century is definitely happening, and I think that the thing that we all remember about the 21st century, besides something like 9/11, which really begins the digital age, there were several events in 2000 and 2001 that begin the digital age, which I'm calling full digital conditions. Really the demarcation point is pretty easy to spot based on certain cultural markers like 9/11, like Y2K, like the stolen election of 2000, which was symbolized by the guy looking up at the punch card. Remember the dimple Chad guy, photo by Alan Diaz? But when we really think of the 21st century and what happened, and in particular what would appear to be the humans submitting to the total supremacy of artificial intelligence. And I don't mean your Google search. Somebody tried to give me a noodle lashing for quoting an AI search engine result. That's the least of our worries, frankly. What we need to be worried about, and I think we need, strong word, to be worried, another strong word, and therefore take action upon rather than sitting around being worried, is this extent of the use of AI requiring Bill Gates to lease the 3 Mile Island nuclear power plant. You're old enough to remember the 3 Mile Island nuclear meltdown? I think that was in 79. Well, there's still half of the thing left. They decommissioned it, and Gates has basically leased it for 20 years. Why does he need to lease a power plant that big? That big. I mean, I want to show you this. I want to show you this because it's really important for this reading. If you want to understand Pluto and Aquarius, then we're going to get into how Pluto and Aquarius influences you. So let's get this.